Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I just want to do another video so we can get a better understanding on the growth and the maturity that adults go through in their life, or they should go through. These are the steps that we should go through in life and the actions that we should take in order to become self-aware, become free thinkers, so we can avoid some pitfalls and dangers, in life, especially in our younger years, in the years of our vulnerability, in the years that where we are crawling, not physically crawling, but mentally crawling through life, trying to figure out, what do we need to be doing, who are we, how do we think, and trying to just, create an identity for ourselves. Because that's really what you're trying to do as as an adolescent, as a a preteen, teenager. You're trying to see what group you fit into. Society, when you're born, society have already put you in a racial group. Society has already put you in a class group. Society has already put you in a religious group. So you're in at least 4 groups. As a young person, you're already in 4 groups. You're in a religious group, you're in a class group, you're in a racial group, and then you're in a gender group. So you have already identified your group. So now as you get older, your challenge is to figure out if you want to remain in those groups. Now, there are some groups that you are going to remain in, your racial group and your gender group. But your class group, you don't have to remain in. You don't have to remain poor. You don't have to remain middle class. You don't have to remain rich. Your religious group, you don't have to remain Christian. You don't have to remain Catholic. You don't have to remain Muslim. You don't have to remain Buddhist. So there is a level of freedom that you can obtain by removing some of these identities, where you can think freely. And that's what I'm talking about when you go through your psychological metamorphosis and when you mature. Like, even in this image, like, the vulnerable adolescent aspect of life is called immaturity. Right? So you're immature. You're growing. You're learning, how to navigate with all these identities. You're learning how to navigate. And with each identity that you associate yourself with, you have your prejudices. You have your discriminatory behavior. You have your biases. As you get older, you have a bias as a male or a female. You have these roles that society say you have to play. Religiously, you have the beliefs and these concepts and tradition that you have to participate in. In your class, your financial class, you have these expectations that your group going to say that you must meet. People that you can hang around, people that you can talk to. So you have all these expectations. Every expectation in each one of these groups create limitations for you. Because if you're wealthy, they don't want you to talk to poor people or be around poor people. That's a limitation. If you're black or if you're white, they don't want you to be around other races. That's a limitation. If you're in a certain religion, they don't want you to associate or have certain beliefs associated with other religions. That's a limitation. See, so every category have limitations that stifle your growth. That's why when you go through your vulnerability adolescent stage, you're vulnerable to these prejudices, to these biases. You're vulnerable. So as you get older, you're supposed to change the way you think. You're supposed to morph. You're supposed to adapt to new ways of thinking, because you're supposed to get outside of your immediate environment and learn new things, meet new people. So humans, we don't go through a total metamorphosis. We go through a incomplete metamorphosis. There's a name for it. Let me find the name. Hold on, guys. Let me find what the name is. Okay, guys. It's called a metabolis. Hemimetabolis. It says, are humans hemimetabolis? Metabolists. That's it. Are humans metabolists? Say yes. Technically, by science, we humans do not go through a metamorphosis, which is a complete physical change, like amphibians and insects go through, but we do have very similar life stages. As mentioned, there are two types of metamorphosis: hemimetabolis and a halometabolis. Hemimetabolis, partial metamorphosis, and halometabolis is a complete metamorphosis. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So when we're evolving, you're supposed to go through these transformations. You're not supposed to remain the same. Like, so when you're in your adolescent or preteen years, your diet consists of foods that are appealing to your appetite, your environment, what you enjoy eating. As you get older, your diet is supposed to change, just like that of a caterpillar. A caterpillar eats only leaves. They eat leaves as they are growing up. When they go through when they start metamorphosizing and go into the cocoon, when they come out of the cocoon to be a butterfly, they only eat nectar. They don't continue to eat leaves. See? So same thing with adults. When you go from a teenager to an adult, you don't eat the same. Your diet and things that entertain you is supposed to change. You're not supposed to still have the same childish behavior. You're not supposed to think like a child. You're not supposed to act like a child. And you're not supposed to eat like a child. So if you're an adult and you're still eating pizza and chicken nuggets, that's like a child. If you're still drinking ices and sodas like a child, then you're thinking and acting like a child. You're not maturing. So the same way your behavior is different than a child, so should your eating habits change also. See, so that's what I'm saying. So when you're an adolescent or preteen, you're vulnerable because you're susceptible to the stereotypes, the biases, the prejudices, and the manipulation of the groups that you fit in, which are gender, race, class, and religion. Those are the four groups that's going to mold who you are. But as you evolve into a pupil, that's the learning stage. That's when you go into your cocoon. That's when you go into your cocoon and you start to develop who you are. That's where you go in and you're fasting at that point. You're fasting. That's because like even with the caterpillar eating all the leaves, the caterpillar are voracious eaters. They're eaters because when they go into the cocoon, they start fasting. So you're fasting at this point. You're going into monk mode. You're going into isolation. Okay? This is when you're getting the download from the universe. The universe is downloading the information that you're going to need to operate as an adult. And the adult state is called maturity. The adolescent stage is called immaturity. Then the evolving stage is called pupil. See, guys? So you see the stages? The stages of adolescence when you're the most vulnerable. The stage of the pupils when you're evolving, when you're learning, you're getting the downloads from the universe. But what we do is we stay in the adolescent stage. We stay vulnerable. Even as young adults, we stay in the adolescent stage. So that's when we get lost. We don't know what we want to do. We don't know what's going on because we never took the time to evolve. We never took the time to connect with the universe. We never took the time to get the downloads. Because our parents, our grandparents is pushing us through the matrix, pushing us through the system to hurry up and get to the next stage. But we're missing this stage. We're missing the most important stage, the stage of evolution, where we evolve into an adult. We miss the most important stage because we got so many distractions. And we're pushed through the college system, pushed through the workforce system. We have all these distractions. We never evolve. So a lot of adults have to go back into the evolving stage as a pupil so they can learn who they are. Because most people go straight from vulnerable and adolescent, go straight to being a student, being a girlfriend, a boyfriend, being a mother, to being, you go straight to these stages. You skip a whole stage of self-development. Self-development. You skip the whole stage, and then you go straight from that. Now you're an adult. And as an adult, you think you're free. But there are dangers to being an adult. Because you never got the downloads on how to defend yourself, on how to protect yourself. The butterfly gets the downloads on what she or he needs to do to protect themselves, what color, what dots, the flight patterns. Because the butterfly knows as soon as it leaves, it's going to become prey for different predators, birds, frogs, whatever it may be. So even when you're a pupil in your evolving stage, you're going to still have enemies that's trying to attack you. So certain insects have built defense mechanisms where they make a noise, they make a buzzing sound, a vibration to try to defend themselves from predators that may want to feast on them while they're in their evolving pupil stage. And that's the same thing with humans. There are going to be other humans and systems and programs that's going to try to feed on you and disrupt your evolutionary period, your pupil period. So you got to put your defense mechanism. That's why the caterpillar goes into a cocoon where it's hard to get to him or her while they're evolving. And you have to do the same thing. You have to go into a cocoon. Because this is a stage that you probably missed when you came out of your adolescent stage, your vulnerability stage. You missed this stage of evolving. And you went straight to adulthood. Now you're overwhelmed because you bought a house. You ran to a job. Then you're working 10 hours a day. You have children. Now you got to raise your children. So that's why most adults go through a midlife crisis. Because they missed this crucial point in their life. They missed evolving. They missed the teaching stage, the learning stage from the universe. They learn from the university, but they never learn from the universe. They never took the time to get the downloads on who they are outside of the matrix, outside of the system of who the system say you are. The system said that you belong in this class. The system said that you have to stay within this race. and you can only associate within this race. The system said that you have to play this gender role. The system said that you got to stay in this religious belief system. That's what the matrix said. That's what the system said. So you took that and you thought that was the truth. And that was all your choices that you had. And you never got the download from the universe. You only got the download from the university. So now that you have gone back into the cocoon and got the download, now you know how to maneuver as a butterfly in the world. Yes, there are still going to be dangers, but now you know the flight pattern. Your GPS, your moral compass, your moral GPS is operating according to the universe, not according to the biases and the prejudices that the program gave you. Now you know who your enemies are in the real world. Now you know what the dots on your wings mean. Now you know what the scents mean. Now you know what flowers to go to get the nectar from. Now you know who you are as a butterfly, because now you're free. But you had to go back into the cocoon to get the downloads. So that's why most humans, that's why we're so far behind as a species, because we missed this step. We're supposed to be way far ahead. But all these prejudices and all these belief systems that we carry with us is holding us back. So now as a free adult, you realize that actually I'm not free. I got to go to work every day. I'm in bondage. I'm in psychological turmoil. My relationship's a mess. I'm not in sync with the universe. I'm eating bad. I'm smoking. I'm living bad. I got negative thoughts. I'm in a toxic environment. I'm depressed. I'm on medication. I'm out of shape. I'm mentally and physically and psychologically unstable. I don't have any principles. I don't have any morals. I don't have any values. I'm selling myself cheap. All those things come because you missed the most important stage in life, in the life cycle, your psychological mental metamorphosis. You skipped the stage. And that was the pupil stage. That was the learning stage where you're getting your downloads from the universe. The word pupil literally means a student. Pupil. So guys, it's never too late for you to go back and go into that cocoon and get the downloads from the universe and what's the word? Molt. I think the word is molting. Molting is when you shed off their old skin. I think snakes do it. Caterpillars do it. They shed off their old skin. So you need to go back and you need to be molten. You need to be melted down. Go back into the fire and get melted down to a more pure self of who you are. It's called molting. And that's the only way you're going to be able to find out who you are. Because you're not just a teacher. You're not just a bus driver. You're not just a carpenter. You're not just a teller. You're not just a cashier. You're not just a pilot. You're not just a dog trainer. You're not just a taxi cab driver. You're not just a mother or father. You're not just a security guard. You're not just a police officer. You're not just a firefighter. You're not just a nurse. You're not just a doctor. All these labels and titles that they put on you those are limiting titles that imprison your true self. They imprison you into a title. You're in prison. So the only person that you know yourself to be is a doctor or a student. But when you leave those roles from corporate America, from the matrix, when you leave those roles, who are you? You don't even know who you are. So you even introduce yourself as an ex-military or ex-pilot. You'll even introduce your ex-wife, ex-boyfriend. You all these exes. Former school teacher, former pilot, former this. You don't even know who you are. So even when you leave these roles, you're still trying to identify with your past. Ex-NFL player, ex-NBA player, former this, ex that. That's who you identify with. See, you still trying to hold on to the past. You don't see anybody say they was an ex-slave, a former slave, because they don't want to identify with that. You know, and then people try to, even with people who've been incarcerated, the system want to still try to hold that incarceration over them. Oh, you're an ex-felon, an ex-con. They want to hold that to you. But you don't say you was an ex-teenager. Even when you go to another country, they want to call you an expat. It's crazy, guys. So if you just thought about the words that we use to imprison our minds, you'll realize that you want to free your mind of all these titles. Because that's not who you are. That's who the system says that you are. That's who the matrix says that you are. That you're a former truck driver or ex-truck driver, whatever they call that stuff. Whatever. See? If your children, if one of your kids die, are you going to say, I'm an ex-mother? No, you're never going to say that you're an ex-mother. I'm a former mother. I'm an ex-dad or a former dad. Nobody says that. If your father died, your mother died, you're not going to say you're an ex-son. Oh, I used to be, my dad died, I used to be a son. No, you're still his son. It's still your father. See, guys? So I'm trying to help you to understand that you missed a step in the metamorphic process. That's the moral of the story. That's the takeaway. You missed a step. So now it's your responsibility to go back and shed off. Go back into the fire and shed off. Melt off. Boil off the impurities in your life, in your mind. Go back into the water and boil off those impurities. You need to be distilled. You need to burn off the impurities. Go back into the cocoon and resurrect your consciousness. Get the downloads from the universe. Okay, guys? I hope that message resonated with someone. I know it was long, kind of drawn out, but a lot of times, you know, when there's so much information for so many people from so many backgrounds, so many thought processes, that it takes a lot of words to get people to connect with people. You know, because you have to say so many words and have so many examples that so it can resonate with somebody. Because people are so caught up into their own little world that if I use one example or a small little thing, they won't get it because, oh, that didn't fit that didn't fit into my reality. So that's why I had to use so many examples about, you know, what the things that people that they claim that they identify with. They identify with what was given to them when they were vulnerable. They didn't know any better but to drink the Kool-Aid that was given to them. That's why you have so many grown men and women to this day that are still racist, because they never evolved. So here they are, 65 years old. They've been racist since they was 15. For 50 years. And that's something that they learned when they were vulnerable. And see, guys, you got to realize, like, everybody all caterpillars don't metamorphosize into butterflies. Some metamorphosize into moths. And we all know that moths are nowhere near as beautiful as butterflies. So remember that, guys, everybody's not going to be a butterfly. Most people will morph into moths. Okay, guys, until next time, guys, I hope that message resonated with someone. And I'm sure that as this message goes across the frequencies, for those who are going to receive it, they're going to get this message. I pray to the universe that the right people get the right message, get this right message at the right time. Okay, guys, until next time, guys, keep your life clean, keep your mind clean, keep your body clean, keep your home clean, keep your diet clean, guys. Drink plenty of spring water to flush out the toxins, the poison, the chemicals that's in the food supply, guys. You are being poisoned. You're being micro poisoned every day. And because you're unconscious, you're operating in an unconscious state, that the 30,000 decisions that you're making every day are coming from your unconscious mind, from what you've learned over the years. You make over 30,000 decisions per day, and 95 of those decisions are unconscious. You just turn right, turn left. You're not really thinking about it. You just turn right, turn left. You just eating this, eating that. You just watching this, watching that. You just listen to this, listen to that. You just go to the same church. You just think the same traditions, same beliefs, all unconscious. Same food, all unconscious. You're not even thinking about anything. You don't even read the box. You don't even read the labels, the ingredients, and nothing. It's all unconscious. You just drink, eat, and be merry, all unconscious. See, guys, but once you become conscious and realize that you have options and choices that's vastly different than what you've been taught, then you're free. Knowledge is freedom, not money. Okay, guys, download and deploy your antimalware software, debug and unplug from the matrix, guys. Until next time, guys, Contraband 777, I'm signing off. Now go and conquer yourself. Peace.